Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and 10 bold predictions for what will happen in WWE in 2018. WWE and NXT. Since I couldn't come up with 10 for each, I decided to slam them into one. And really, here we go. I've talked about some of these on some other lists, like, the previous women's shows that I've done, women's wrestling shows I've done. Please check those out. I really would appreciate it. And some of these may seem oddly ranked, but some of them I've talked about and some of them I'm ranking low because I think they're more obvious. Once you get up to the top 3, though, I really, really hope that these happen. I think number 1 will happen, though, but we'll get to that. Number 10, Peyton Royce will be SmackDown Live Women's Champion before the end of the year. In fact, it may happen either by May, because her and Billie Kay are getting called up after Mania. It has to or after TakeOver New Orleans. It has to happen. It must happen. Put him on SmackDown, let him reign supreme, let Peyton win the championship, have a nice little run. She doesn't need it forever, but give her a nice little run to establish her on the main roster. Her and Billie can get really, really good heat. It will work, and then you can transition them into what number 9 is going to be. A women's tag title will be created, and Peyton and Billie can be the first ever women's tag team champions that they've had in WWE, or at least first that they've had in a long ad nauseum time. Because that way, Peyton and Billie keep their momentum. Peyton and Billie are able to be champions for a bit, possibly from the end of 2018, sometime later 2018 into 2019. And then you have teams like, say, Becky and Charlotte, if they don't separate them on the brand split. Naomi and Ember Moon, if they team them up. You have Tamina and Lana team up and fail miserably because Lana can't wrestle anymore. God, Natty and Carmella. I mean, you could do quite a few and have only the tag titles be for one team on one show. You do not need to do them on both shows. Like a tag title, women's tag title on each show. Have it be in one show. Champions appear here and there. And it's a way to build, that brand, that brand war and everything, and a war among the women. And you can use these other factions. You could have Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan challenge for them. You could have Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose challenge for them, or Paige and Sonya Deville, or something like that. You could do a whole lot of stuff with it. Bayley and Sasha, and then you could have the inevitable heel turn where Sasha finally turns heel. For the love of Christ, please have Sasha turn heel. But I think a women's tag title will be created. And I want to give a shout out to the Durbinator. He has finally convinced me that this is going to happen. I waffled back and forth on it, and goddamn it, now I want waffles. In fact, I'm going to have to go make some waffles after this video. I love waffles and pancakes. But anyway, and breakfast food in general, especially bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? Except vegans. And that's fine if you're vegan. That's cool. Women's tag title, though, it has to happen, and I do agree. I do agree with him finally. I was for it if they did it right. And if they can do that, they just can't have one on each show, because then at that point you're going to have champions. It's going to be like the tag divisions on both shows. That's kind of my issue, unless you're going to call up more tag teams, call up more women to be in tag teams and stuff like that. Just have, say start out on SmackDown. Then after a few months, say a team on Raw wins. Like, say Becky and Charlotte are back on Raw or something like that. Or say Becky and Bayley, or Becky and Mickey or something like that are on Raw or something like that. You get the point. There's a lot of possibilities to do. The possibilities are endless. Number 8, Selena and Andrade will be, will be champions. Selena will be the NXT Women's Champion at some point, possibly at a TakeOver if they have it in May or even June. And she'll hold the title for a little bit. Andrade will hold the championship, I believe, until TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Now, I don't know if that's obviously going to happen, but I think it would be nice to see, as they're both clearly perfect for each other as far as on-screen characters. They might be dating, I don't know. I don't care, and if they are, good for them. Because I think Zelina and Austin Aries aren't dating anymore, but whatever, none of my business. That's their personal lives. Zelina and Andrade are a perfect fit. Shout out to Evelina Tweets, who, yes, has turned me around on this whole thing and has helped me realize, hey, Andrade is a great wrestler. Andrade was a great wrestler before he got to WWE. Great wrestler. He's been a great wrestler as a babyface. He's even better as a heel. I was certainly wrong about him, not being NXT champion. He has succeeded. He is doing well. I say give him a nice, very long run because you've given him the ball. Let him run with it. Give him some challengers. Have him beat people, and then you're going to have somebody else beat him, and I'm going to get to that at my number two selection. But Zelina should be NXT Women's Champion at some point, and while Andrade is NXT champion, and that would be nice and everything. That would just be really, really cool, and they could show the domination and stuff like that. Number 7, Miz is Universal Champion. It has to happen. You have to give it to a full-time guy that is actually good. And Kevin Owens was great as Universal Champion. The problem is he was booked like shit, which is really sad because Kevin Owens is an incredible worker. An incredible worker. He is somebody that should have been champion going into Mania. I would have preferred it be, Jericho versus Owens for the Universal Championship. That didn't happen. We got Goldberg versus Lesnar, and now Lesnar is defending the title about 5 times a year. Hooray! Anyway, Miz should beat whoever the Universal Champion is coming out of Mania 34, which will probably be Roman Reigns. And I would be all for Miz beating Roman Reigns at SummerSlam or Survivor Series. One of the two, but Miz needs to be Universal Champion. Hell, even if he wins Money in the Bank, if he's a 2-time Money in the Bank winner, that ought to affect CM Punk's view of WWE creative, if he even cares anymore. Considering him and the Miz, I think, have heat. I don't know. Because Miz dropped him on his head at a house show at one point. If I remember seeing the video right. Miz, even if Miz has to cash in on whoever the champion is, hopefully Roman Reigns, he needs to be Universal Champion before the end of 2018. It has to happen. I'll be right back, folks. Quick break, and I'm back. So, again, Miz needs to be Universal Champion before the end of 2018. Number 6, a tag tournament will happen like the Cruiserweight Classic and the Mae Young Classic. Don't know if they're going to get 32 teams, unless they use underutilized teams in there and stuff like that, but they can sign some teams from the UK, from Australia, from Japan. Don't sign the Young Bucks. Hashtag fuck the Young Bucks. I think the Young Bucks is, like contract with Ring of Honor. I think it's with Ring of Honor. And they do New Japan shots also. It was running for a while and everything. And even if it wasn't, I don't want to see the Young Bucks in WWE. Sorry, I just flat out don't. I don't like the Young Bucks. And plus, their style is perfect for Ring of Honor and New Japan. They're making good money on their merch. Even with the cease and desist letter, they're doing well providing for their families. And that's something they should be allowed to do. I don't hate them to that point. I just don't like video game wrestlers. And that's what the Young Bucks are. This is not going to turn into a Young Bucks rant. A tag tournament will happen, even if it's with just 16 teams. Again, if they want to do 32, they could, use veterans and stuff like that and mix people in to get other newer teams over. And you could put the Singh brothers in there. I mean, you might as well. You aren't doing anything good with them currently, like having them actually wrestle, or at least wrestle and look credible, because they are very good talents and very good bumpers. A tag tournament will happen, and it needs to happen. And I'm not saying like a Dusty Classic. I'm not saying that kind of stuff, which was a great tournament, by the way. They didn't have one this year, and they didn't need to. But a tag tournament will happen, and a few new teams will be signed. And please, make the SmackDown and Raw tag divisions less stale. Please, call some teams up. Put some new teams in NXT. Make them work. Please stop making the tag divisions all stale. Have a tag team tournament so you can make them less stale. Anyway, number 5, 205 Live. The 205 Live show will be done. Just the way they're doing this. I mean, and this is nothing against the Cruiserweight Classic, talents. The Cruiserweight talents who are doing great, who are having great and sometimes incredible matches. And are fantastic athletes and are doing their best, but the whole damn brand is so dead. What doesn't help is they're putting it in an arena, after SmackDown, and the vast majority of fans are leaving now. I mean, not a lot of people left at first when I went to Seattle. I mean, the couple times I've seen it, like earlier in February, of this year, and just recently in October. And by the way, check out those reviews, especially the October edition, where Derb and I sound Chris and I sound a whole lot less horse than we did in February. I just can't see how the brand's going to survive. I think they're going to cut costs and they're going to cut this back. Maybe they might cut it back to a half hour or something like that. They may have to cut it back to a half hour, but I think before 2018 is out, 205 Live as a show will be done, and they'll put the cruiserweights. They can put some cruiserweights on Raw and on SmackDown, and maybe do the same thing I suggested with a women's tag team division. Maybe create a cruiserweight tag team belt, or just mix up some of the cruiserweights in the tag team division and have them go nuts and do that kind of stuff. But still have the cruiserweight title defended, provided you get it off Enzo, because Enzo's trash. But I think the 205 Live show will be done in 2018. And maybe not even a cost-cutting thing. I just think they might realize that pouring money into it isn't a good idea if people aren't sticking around for it. And if the network numbers aren't up, then there's no point. I'd put it on before SmackDown, let people in the building earlier, and even if the arena's half full, they're more alive than they would be after SmackDown. Number 4, Undertaker will headline the Hall of Fame class in 2018. Guys like Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express will go in also, and Hebner will come back to WWE and take his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. I believe they will make up, and they should. He has gone from Impact Wrestling. Earl Hebner should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't believe he is, and he should be. He absolutely should be. For the great moments that he provided, even with the way he left the company, he deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Hopefully him and Vince can patch things up. Triple H maybe can find a way to make that happen. Since he's been instrumental in getting Bruno and a lot of people back to WWE. That'll happen. Vader will go in the Hall of Fame also. Vader has to go in the Hall of Fame. But my main bold prediction, I believe Cornette and the Midnight Express will be in there. Will be there, and I mean, who inducts them? I don't know. I don't know who would induct them. Let's see. Midnight Express. You gotta have the Rock and Roll Express do it, but that would almost seem like repetitive. Road Warrior Animal? Road Warrior Animal, maybe. I mean, Midnight Express and Road Warriors, that's pretty good matches. Anyway, but that's what I think is going to happen. Undertaker will headline the Hall of Fame. Headline the Hall of Fame because he's not going to wrestle again. I just don't, I don't care how good of shape he is in after, I believe, getting his hip surgery and this kind of stuff, according to what Lawler said. I don't care. Undertaker needs to go in the Hall of Fame where the streak ended. He's already suffered 2 losses at Mania in the past, couple years. Like the past 3 years. 4 years. He doesn't need to do, and it's actually 4 years. He doesn't need to wrestle again. Take his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. Kane can induct him. Or Vince can induct him. One of the two. I would have Kane do it. But you could have Vince do it because Taker, maybe Vince's greatest creation. But Undertaker will headline the Hall of Fame in 2018. Number 3, Reigns will go heel. They are going to do a switch. I mean, even though Lesnar's kind of a baby face, they're going to have Reigns go heel at WrestleMania 34. He is going to do everything to smash, destroy, beat up Lesnar. And Lesnar may leave WWE. That may happen, and I think that should happen. I don't think Lesnar can go back to UFC and have another payday if he wants, clean, hopefully. And work out fine if he wants. He does not need to wrestle again. He could retire if he wanted. He's got enough damn money. But Reigns will go heel. It has to happen. I mean, I know I said that about John Cena and that kind of stuff, but Reigns has to go heel. They should make it where Reigns is the one to turn on the Shield this time. But I'd say have it happen in Mania, where he just smashes over Lesnar and this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying beats him in a minute, but does so many actions in such a heelish way that he beats Lesnar, and he beats Lesnar right out of WWE, and you have him as a champion. And if you want, you could have Miz even, as a cash-in, it would be seen like a heel maneuver, but you could have Miz cash in at SummerSlam and say somebody beats down Reigns after a match, but they don't win the title, and they're leaving, and Miz runs down with the briefcase, Skull Crush finale, 1, 2, 3, and then you have a program there for a few months with Miz possibly a babyface, or a tweener, and a heel Reigns. Number 2, Johnny Gargano is NXT champion because Gargano will beat Andrade Cien Almas and take over Brooklyn 4. Tommaso Ciampa will be back sometime, I believe, in January or February, or maybe even March. Gargano and Ciampa will have a match at TakeOver New Orleans. Ciampa will win there. Gargano and Ciampa will have a rematch at either a TakeOver in May or even if they have one in June. Gargano will win there. They will have a blow-off on TV where Gargano will beat Ciampa. Gargano and Almas will have a build where Gargano almost, says has a TV match against Almas and almost wins, but almost wins, doesn't win. Wants another shot. Has to earn it through, say, like a fatal four-way on TV. Does it, and finally scratches and claws in 1 year. 1 year. I'm getting excited. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about 1 year after Andrade Cien almost beat him at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Almas now is the champion. Gargano as the plucky underdog. Despite all of Zelina Vega's attempts at interference and attacking, manages to beat Andrade Cien Almas and becomes NXT champion. And the pop that Brooklyn will give will be tremendous. And it will be great to see Gargano as champion. So barring injuries, unforeseen injuries, and barring the fact that Almas isn't called up sooner, I think Almas is going to be champion until then, and Gargano's going to beat him, and that's how you build a story. 1 damn year. They could build on that, and it'd be tremendous. And then you call up Almas and Almas and Zelina Vega to say Raw or SmackDown, and you have that happen. And number 1, Asuka will lose by pinfall before 2018's done. It's going to happen. She can be Raw Women's Champion. Say she beats Paige at Mania 34. By SummerSlam, I think by SummerSlam, but possibly by Survivor Series, something like that. Asuka will lose. The bloom will not be off the rose. A loss will not undo Asuka. If done right. There will be no tasers, like Goldberg and Nash at Starrcade. There will be nothing like that. Asuka will lose by pinfall. She will lose the championship. She will flip heel. She will go on a tear and she will destroy everyone. Because she will be upset. And it will make her vulnerable in a good way, but it will give her that edge and make her a heel. And I will be here for it, and I will love it. So that's what I think is going to happen. Did you guys enjoy my predictions? What are some bold predictions you think are going to happen in WWE and NXT? And don't say they're going to go out of business, because, sorry, I don't think they're going to go out of business. Maybe run a few less shows and some venues that ain't exactly filling up, like the Key Arena. They ain't filling up the Key Arena, and the Key Arena ain't exactly a damn big place. They filled up everything except the upper decks, like the nosebleed section, because they curtained those off. But anyway, what are some bold predictions that you have for WWE and NXT? What are some bold predictions you have for New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling? Think Impact Wrestling still going to be in business for all of 2018? I hope so. More companies, more places for talents to go. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been real awesome with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you all soon.